Before we begin, make sure you subscribe to After the Sirens and leave a comment below, because this channel exists for people who refuse surface-level history and want to understand what was deliberately hidden. What you're about to hear is not a recycled World War II documentary narrative. These are the military installations that governments attempted to erase from maps, records, and memory itself. Bases buried underground, camouflaged as farms, disguised as civilian infrastructure, or abandoned with the intention that no trace would ever remain. Many of these locations shaped the outcome of the war in ways the public never learned about, and some were so sensitive that their existence was denied decades after the fighting stopped. Understanding how and why these bases were concealed tells us far more about wartime strategy, intelligence warfare, and modern secrecy than most history books ever explain. World War II forced every major power to rethink how military infrastructure was built and protected. Traditional fortifications were easy targets for aerial reconnaissance and bombing, so secrecy became a weapon. Entire facilities were hidden underground, embedded into mountains, or constructed to blend seamlessly into civilian environments. These bases were not defensive luxuries, but operational necessities. They housed intelligence centers, experimental weapons programs, covert training facilities, and command hubs that coordinated resistance movements across occupied territories. The goal was not just protection from bombs, but protection from knowledge itself. If the enemy never knew a base existed, it could not be targeted, sabotaged, or politically exposed. One of the most influential secret base networks was beneath Britain itself. While the cabinet war rooms in London are now public, many regional underground headquarters were meant to remain unknown forever. Facilities like the hidden bunker at Corsham were designed to house the British government in the event London was destroyed. These installations included their own power plants, water systems, medical wings, and encrypted communication lines connecting them to Allied commands worldwide. The practical lesson here is redundancy through concealment. The British understood that survival depended on decentralization, a principle modern emergency planners and survivalists still apply when designing resilient systems today. Germany pushed secrecy further by hiding entire industrial complexes underground. As Allied bombing intensified, the Nazis relocated aircraft production, rocket development, and advanced weapons research into tunnels carved into mountains. Sites associated with the V2 rocket program were deliberately stripped of identifying features after the war, with records destroyed to obscure responsibility and technological transfer. These facilities demonstrate how infrastructure can be rapidly relocated and concealed under pressure. For modern researchers, this reinforces the importance of understanding terrain, geology, and logistics when evaluating how hidden systems operate under sustained threat. Imperial Japan relied heavily on hidden island installations scattered across the Pacific. Many were constructed inside volcanic rock, invisible from the air, with entrances disguised as natural formations. Submarine pens, fuel depots, and command tunnels allowed Japanese forces to survive prolonged bombardment. Some of these bases were sealed intentionally after surrender, trapping equipment and documentation inside. Today, archaeologists still uncover these sites, often untouched since 1945. The takeaway is how geography can be weaponized. Japan's approach shows how natural terrain can provide protection superior to concrete alone when intelligently exploited. Soviet secrecy during World War II extended beyond physical concealment. Entire bases were omitted from maps, their personnel sworn to silence under threat of execution. Some facilities trained partisans who were later inserted behind German lines, while others functioned as intelligence fusion centers, coordinating espionage across Europe. After the war, many of these sites were dismantled or repurposed, with no acknowledgement of their original role. The Soviet model illustrates information control as a strategic asset. Even today, the absence of records is often the strongest indicator that something significant once existed. The erasure of World War II secret bases was not accidental. Acknowledging them would have revealed intelligence methods, illegal occupations, human experimentation, or violations of neutrality agreements. In many cases, admitting their existence would have complicated post-war diplomacy. By destroying blueprints, altering landscapes, and classifying records indefinitely, governments ensured plausible deniability. This practice continues in modern military doctrine, making World War II a foundational case study in how states manage secrecy long after war's end. For historians, understanding these bases sharpens the ability to read between archival lines and recognize patterns of omission. For survival-focused viewers, the lessons are equally practical. Concealment, decentralization, and redundancy remain core principles of resilient infrastructure. Whether designing emergency shelters, off-grid systems, or community defense strategies, the same logic applies. Hidden systems survive longer, attract less attention, and remain functional under pressure. World War II's secret bases prove that invisibility is often more powerful than armor. These locations challenge the simplified narratives of World War II. They reveal a conflict fought not just on battlefields, but beneath forests, inside mountains, and behind false civilian facades. Studying them deepens our understanding of how wars are truly won and how power is quietly maintained. The fact that many of these bases are only now being rediscovered should concern anyone interested in transparency, history, and preparedness. If this kind of deep, serious historical analysis matters to you, subscribe to After the Sirens. Share this video with someone who values real history, and leave a comment with the erased site you want us to investigate next. This channel exists because history still has secrets worth uncovering.